Americans abroad, there's plenty of games, club and league action back in after some domestic cup competitions the last week or so. Do you want to go start in Italy or in England?
Well, okay, so we're just going to avoid Germany because we have pain there. It's just all. I mean, John Tolkien playing for a bottom feeder club in the Bundesliga is doing a thing. There's a couple other guys over. Okay, so you let's start in England, Rob. Since you gave me an option, I'll start in England.
All right, Tyler Adams and his high-flying Bournemouth and the Cherries South Coast Derby. They take on the not just the team in the South, but the team at the bottom of the Premier League. They visit Southampton. You'd think that hopefully Bournemouth and Tyler Adams go from strength to strength. Go to the Saints and take care of business as you think they should. I mean, they've been on such a hot roll. You'd be surprised if Southampton could stymie the Cherries this weekend.
Right. I mean, last time out for Bournemouth was the loss to Liverpool 2 weeks ago.
But that's the only loss in like a dozen games?
It is. Right. And that's not and of course, Liverpool's the best team in the league. So you don't go, oh, I can't believe we lost to Liverpool. You're just a little disappointed you didn't show better at home against Liverpool in that game. And now you go against the bottom club in the table. Of course, you have to win that game. Tyler Adams continues to be important for Iraola, who, again, I will shower with praise in how he's managed the return of Tyler Adams to this lineup, and certainly he sees him as important for the way that he plays, which, there's probably nothing better for a player, because you can be very good, you can be very talented, and not fit a system, and find yourself sort of just around the edges, getting cup games, not getting real minutes, not getting significant minutes. And that's not been Tyler Adams. Tyler Adams has been, since he came back fully fit from his injury, a major part of what Iraola has done at Bournemouth. And, you can't say it's because of Tyler Adams that they are potentially, a Champions League level finisher. There's a hope there. I'm not saying they will. There's a couple teams ahead of them that will make it very difficult. But for Bournemouth to be in seventh, a victory away and some results away from being top four, that's pretty remarkable. And Tyler's part of that.
And they're really fun to watch in general. It's set up for Tyler Adams to do what he does best, protect the back line, disrupt, and then pass it to, the players that can go forward. And they've got some really exciting attackers.
Yeah, and he's not, again, we know what Tyler Adams is. He's not some attacking dynamo. He's not going to give you a ton going forward. But every now and then he's good for recovery in a defensive end, picks his head up and makes a pass and starts things going the other direction, right? We know that Kluivert and Ouattara have benefited from Tyler Adams just getting the ball off his feet, like recovering the ball, getting the ball off his feet. And if you don't allow, in transition, you don't allow the opponent to reset, that's going to be an advantage for Bournemouth.
I think it's kind of funny how there's a multiple pairings of Americans on different teams scattered across Europe. I mean, there's the duo at PSV and then a couple of duos in Italy. We'll go to Milan, though, as Yunus Musah and Christian Pulisic visit Hellas Verona this weekend, wearing some special one-off kits. Apparently, this is Haute Couture collaboration with Off-White. AC Milan going to be wearing some stylish kits, apparently, against Hellas Verona at the weekend. And then Juventus visit Inter. Excuse me. Juventus visit Inter. Big game at the top end of the table in Italy is Reyna and the aforementioned Weston McKennie in good form, taking on the table toppers, Inter Milan. Anything kind of stick out for you there between those two?
Well, I mean, you went through a rapid fire. Obviously, for Pulisic, for Milan, for where they are, not the result they wanted in the Champions League away against Feyenoord. They'll have a chance to turn that over midweek at home at the San Siro. Hellas Verona is a team they should beat, right? I say that. I mean, it's been an up and down season for Milan. They haven't been where again, we're talking about Juventus and them trying to climb back into being a contender in Italy. Milan is very much in that same boat. They are 5 points back of Juventus, and a couple points back of Fiorentina. So Milan right now doesn't even have a place in Europe if the season finished this way. And if you're going to be in a European place at the end of the season, and I know they want Champions League and not the other things, which are not quite as fun or quite as good, then you need to beat teams like Hellas Verona, right? You can't lose, can't drop points. It doesn't matter where that game is. You can't drop points against Hellas Verona. Yunus Musah was suspended for the first match against Feyenoord because of the red card in Zagreb. So there's a chance that he'll be back in the lineup against Hellas Verona after sitting out. So we'll see what goes on there. And of course, this is the continued integration of Santi Jimenez and João Felix. And the first league the first league opportunity, they look good, but they didn't look as good in the Champions League. So will they find a way under Conceição to make it work in Serie A?
Yeah, Hellas Verona in 15th in Serie A, and a correction, Inter in second, 1 point behind Napoli at the top of the Italian table. Juventus currently sitting in fifth there. Have you watched much Inter? I mean, how does Juventus and their strengths kind of match up with Inter? I feel like Juventus, it's kind of hard to peg them, where they are at. Are they on the ascent or not?
Inter Milan on the ascent, or Juventus?
Juventus. They have an opportunity to get a result against Inter, or is there a bit of a dearth?
No, I mean,
there?
it's a prove it thing for Juve in this game. Clearly, I mean, Inter is better. I mean, let's not act like they're not, or that that they don't have a significant advantage, especially at home. I'm sorry, this game is in Turin, not in Milan. But they do have an advantage. That's a better team. They are under pressure to walk down Napoli and win another Scudetto. And Inzaghi has been great as their manager. They do have a couple of things going on at Inter, that are worth watching in terms of some aging, and there's some guys that maybe aren't performing quite at the level. Obviously, Juventus has added Colomouani, who has already scored some goals for them, so that is a nice addition to that group that could help them. Because Juve, I think part of their issue is that they don't score enough goals to truly be elite in Serie A. Inter Milan scored 58 goals so far this season. Juve scored 41. I mean, that's a big difference in terms of goals, and that explains the 11-point gap between the two. Napoli doesn't score, but the thing about Napoli is they don't give up goals either. 17 goals conceded in 24 games for Antonio Conte. So, you either got to be really good defensively, and Juve is pretty good defensively. They're one of the best in the league, but you got to score goals. And I don't know if they're capable of scoring multiple goals against Inter Milan. I'm thinking 1-1 sounds right. I mean, it's just kind of a random throw-out prediction, but 1-1 sounds right to me, Rod.
Fair enough. This one a little bit outside the margins, but going to Spain, we didn't really talk about it too much, but Johnny Cardoso signed a long-term deal with Betis, and they host Sociedad at the weekend. Were you surprised to see that Johnny Cardoso got that kind of stamp of confidence for that deal at Betis?
No, I think they like him. I think they obviously think that they can flip him and sell him, and there's been talk about that. Tottenham's been interested. A couple of other teams, I think, have been eyeing Johnny Cardoso. He made a splash when he arrived at Betis, and Betis has doing relatively well. I mean, for that club, I think you have to be pretty thrilled about the season that you're having if you're a Betis fan, with a potential to move up the table. They're mid-table right now. They're in 11th. Yeah. Their recent form hasn't been great. They added Cucho Hernandez in the window. We should mention that from Columbus Crew. Johnny Cardoso, though, I don't know how comfortable I am with him in the U.S. men's national team. He never seems to bring exactly the same level that he has shown in Spain. But, of course, if you don't have Tyler Adams, if there are some guys who have drifted out of the picture, you wonder about Luca de la Torre, who's no longer in Spain, then Johnny could be the guy who benefits. He, though, obviously, he is a player who, when you sign that kind of contract, when you sign a new extension with a club like Betis at 23, you're not signing it with the idea that I'm going to be at Betis for the next 3 years. You sign it so that Betis can sell you, benefit from what they've already given to you, and in the meantime, you have stability, right? You have a contract. You know that if you get hurt tomorrow, you're under contract at Real Betis. So, it's kind of that you're hedging your bets a little bit, but I don't think that Johnny Cardoso imagined himself playing at Betis for the rest of his career.
full slate of games for Americans abroad. If there's a game that tickles your fancy, be sure to throw it in the comments. And there is Christian Pulisic modeling the specialty kit that his AC
What
Milan
is going
will be
on?
taking on.
What is going on here?
In the description, they called it like the Dreamland kit. And there was some reference to Martin Luther King and some other things. The press release is kind of weird.
What is the thing on the hill? Is that like a portal to some other land? What is the ball? Why is there a ball in the ocean? I don't understand what's happening. He's got his hand on a column, just as like in the middle of there were there ruins here, I guess is what we're supposed to think. But that one doesn't look very ruined. The other one looks like it's been weathered. That one's like brand new. I'm so confused by what's going on there, Rob.
Yeah,
but
Thomas
I wanted to show
in the chat. Yeah,
it.
it's the fever dream kit is what Thomas is saying in the chat.
That's right.
That's the end of Long Balls here for Friday. If you haven't already, click subscribe. Help us on the way to 1,000 subscribers. morningkickaround@gmail.com or support us at Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/morningkickaround.